Crap. 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 Ah. Now that's good work.
Hey guys, welcome to Show Tell. I'm the last Bob. He's Daniel, questions everything. That's Christian the Show Towers. She is Jables, aka JK47, and this is I already said that. And we buy boxes of random independent comics from comic book stores all over the US and review what they send us. You know how social media works. Look what we got.
Unbelievable. Because we're doing Blowtorch 2, we're gonna basically recap on what number 1 was about. So the main protagonist is Richard Kincaid, and he's an ex-military, a lethal ex-military mercenary, and he works for a strike group called Chess. Now he's just coming back from a funeral, and he's not really working for Chess at the time, but his car gets stolen when he goes to a gas station, and so he ends up being able to track his car via GPS, and in an effort to get his car back, he ends up running into this cartel run by a very interesting character but very powerful man, and
Conroy.
Yeah, Conroy. And so he meets a couple of unsavory characters and basically gets pinned. He ends up in this guy's barn, spoiler alert. He ends up in this guy's a shed, tied up, and that's basically how Volume 1 ends. And so Volume 2 picks up where that left off. So, I mean, he's tied up to the chair, and then now he has to find a way to escape, and things actually take an interesting turn.
And he's left with one goon, as usual.
Yeah.
One inept guard.
Yeah. Here, Rick, I need you to watch him for a couple hours. I'll be right back.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. I'll be back in an hour.
Right.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened. He said, I'll be back in an hour.
Yeah, because if you go to the very last shot of Volume 1, where it's just him strapped to the chair, do you not see how much more buff he looks than the goon that they have watching him?
Tied to a wooden chair, he'll be fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine.
And how small the shed looks around both of them. They look gigantic in that thing.
They do.
Yeah. Yeah, he does take up a lot of room. But this was a 90s style character, because he was in the 90s. So they had this.
Well, you can definitely tell by the art that it feels that way.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it has that touch.
Yeah, I would say I really enjoyed Blowtorch 1, and it picks up right where it left off, and I enjoyed this one as well. I thought that the pacing and the fighting was a little bit off. It wasn't as good as it was in the first one, but it was just a few panels I thought that were probably left out for page, because it needed a page room. But it was missing a few panels. But other than that, I thought it was good. It didn't have, but all the dialogue was in one, so it wasn't a whole lot of dialogue to suffer through. It was just the haps of him getting from the shed into the house, and it ended in a way I wasn't expecting it to end either. With Pete, because in the first one, Pete was in the shed. He was locked in the shed for doing something wrong, and he was going to have to spend the night in the shed. And he was tied up. He let the kid go. He cut him loose and let him go. And he immediately runs out there and is like, "Hey, Dad, there's a guy." And that's when they started shooting and all that started happening. So he frees Pete, and the little shit goes out and gets him turned in. He winds up in the shed.
I mean, it's kind of cool because It almost feels like they just gave the Blowtorch this trauma now that he's gonna have to deal with in further stories.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know, because like the way they ended it, obviously this affected him emotionally. You know, for a guy that's so tough.
Development.
Yeah. So then he's like
Yeah,
sitting
right.
there. He's sitting there like against the shower wall, just feeling the water, and even though his face completely dark, you can feel that panel.
I don't know.
Yeah,
that
yeah.
last panel was a little cheesy for me.
Was it?
Yeah.
I didn't know. Yeah, it was a lot of Blowtorch.
There was a lot of Blowtorch there, yeah.
But we didn't see Wang, so I was thankful for that. But you saw just about everything else though. Show it, but I mean, it was still done. I still liked how it was done. You could feel the pain that he was in. You know?
Sometimes in a story, nudity is actually used to evoke senses of insecurity or
Ability.
Vulnerability.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking
But
about
it could have been implied though, from waist
where
up.
all you see is him crying.
We ended with waist up in the shower. We could have just started there, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe start
I
with
think Daniel's saying-
sticks his toe and test the water first, and then waist up in the shower, leaning on the wall.
I think Daniel's saying he wanted the panels broken up so that his eyes could follow down as he.
Hey, listen, y'all saw that picture earlier. I'm clearly not homophobic.
Let's not even get into whatever the hell that means.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah, we'll just leave it to y'all's imagination. Good luck.
Yeah.
You're talking to writers.
Yeah, right. But I mean, when it comes to two-story books, that's the end of the story. That's it. I mean, that's not his end, but that's the end of that narrative in his storyline. I really liked it. I thought it was. It's up in my top 3. I'd say it's up there with Duel and We Have Demons. I really enjoyed those two, and I really enjoyed. I'd say that still is up there in I don't know, my top 3 is for sure.
You know, and this is just me speaking honestly about it. I want to ask Alfred if he felt that this issue was more rushed than the first issue was, because it certainly felt that way. I felt like you had said earlier about a couple panels were missing, as in they were trying to cram a lot into very little. So to me, the story felt more rushed and not as well paced as the first.
Yeah.
And certainly the art also felt that way, because when I did comparisons looking at the art style, and even though it was the same artist, I could tell that the artist drew differently. You know, in the first one, it was very well thought out. Everything was just perfect. It was great. It went so well with the story. But this one, it felt like a lot of perspectives and images were forced, you know, because they were trying to follow that narrative.
It looks like
Yeah.
kind of a lot of it looked like it was just still almost at the end stage of like sketching, and it was just still kind of in the sketching stage, but right before they turned it into not that.
I know it sounds harsh, but God does not want her to live.
No, and that's a good observation, because if you go to page, what page is this? Page 5. There's at the bottom panel, there's a sketch of like the back of Blowtorch's elbow, and Blowtorch in that panel, it's literally, he's just inked. They didn't do any shading. Like, they used the ink to shade, you know, but that's minimal. Normally they would have gone in with the grays and they would have, you know, developed him a little more, but that definitely looks like something that was just in that final stage of sketching before you start really getting into it. But so I can't say that I really enjoyed this one as much as I enjoyed the first, and that's just me being honest. You know, so I I want to ask him if it may have been that maybe this one was a little more rushed as far as deadlines and commitments and stuff, and that might have affected the story. In which case, you know, I would be like, okay, well, that's understandable because you got to do what you got to do within a certain amount of time.
Yeah.
But it's still a good story. I wasn't mad about how it ended, honestly. It was an interesting way to end it. But the art, I mean, I can't rave about the art as much as I did with the first one. Because even like the fight scenes, like you said, Bob, they didn't flow as well as the fight scenes and the whole action sequence did in the first one. Like
Yeah,
that.
we raved about that that Jeep scene, you know, when he jumped in the Jeep and they were shooting through the thing. It flowed really well. Yeah.
It was great, but this one didn't feel that way.
It's still it's drawn really well still.
Yeah.
It's more of a flow choice, and then or flow issue, and then was the drawing style an artistic choice versus forced into less of a thing. Jesus Christ.
Hey Daniel, the 80s are calling.
I mean, here's the thing, man. I give a lot of weight to what Justine was saying about the drawings seeming like they're in the last stages of development. Because if you look in the first one, no drawing in that comic looked that way.
There were a couple, like the one where Conway was talking to Kenny, I think, the guy he was punishing, the guy he killed. Like when he was talking to him, and he had that one shadow, he was just like scribbled in as the shadow part of him.
I think I know what panel you're talking about, but I think that was the part.
You said where he's talking to Kenny?
Yeah.
The guy he kills, right? The one he cuts his throat.
And then I don't know why it bugs me so much, but also in that first one, when he kills Kenny and he stabs him in the throat, like the very first stab is like, you can tell it's blood, it's dark black or whatever, but when Kenny's holding his throat, it's all white, and it just looks like he's got a shot of jizz coming out of his neck. Just, I can't with that contrast. Why is it white?
What was Kenny doing before this happened? Like when he catches a shark and cuts him open.
He was begging for his life. What do you think? Oh shit, that's fucking hilarious.
I see the shot that you're talking about where like the Jeep's behind him, and then he's looking at Kenny. Kenny's in the foreground. He does look very he is very scribbled in.
Like
but I mean, outside of that,
better than the second one.
Yeah, because like he still gave all the characters different shades in each panel. You know what I mean?
But there's like also another. I think it's just that panel, because there's another character that's like in the background that like half of his face is a little
little. Oh wow.
The smoking guy.
Half his face is little. What was it? Just saying the smoking guy, you said?
I think so. It is on the left side, like right in the background of Kenny.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's a good that's a good face. It's on the caricature side. I disagree on that one. I think that's a good face.
I'll have to take your word for it. I don't remember that one.
I mean, that's the thing. It's like it's far away, so it's not gonna be like a masterpiece. But given that they literally had like half lines and dots to work with, it's pretty good. Yeah, you see, like right now, I'm scrolling through the first one again, and I'm like, okay, I'm really into the art, you know, because I could tell like he took his time. The second one it felt rushed, And I say that because it felt like a lot of the other comics that we read before, where we said the same thing, where the story was just very rushed. It felt that way.
I mean, so other than a couple of panels I thought was missing. Of course, I'm not, as insightful as all that, and the art, I didn't notice all that stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, I remember one panel he was throwing a grenade out the door, and I wasn't sure, was he like, it kind of looked like he was going, oh, a grenade, but he was actually throwing it. So I didn't realize it until I turned the page, and then it showed the grenade coming out the door, and everybody's like, "Move!" But when I looked at the panel, it looked like he was like, "Oh, grenade!" He had his hand like that, I was like, "Oh." That was at the end of part 2. I'm not sure what. I'm in my car, so I'm not sure. I'm on location in my car, guys. I enjoyed it, but there was, I think that waiting on it for so long kind of takes away a lot of the anticipation, because you anticipate it for so long, and then you finally get it. Your anticipation for it overrides what you're looking at, I think that's why we're going a good route with ours, by telling like a lot of it, you know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to give them 80 pages of good story from this narrative, and so they won't have to wait, you get 13 pages of actual book, and you got to wait 4 or 5 months for another one, or even 2 months, I think it's when you get to a point where, well, we already talked about that, so.
Well, we've got this binge culture too, where people, Netflix releases entire series on day 1, and you watch that whole fucking season, in a week, and you wait a year for the next season.
The next one,
Yeah.
And every time you get mad, because I used to do that, binge watch shit, and I'd be like, damn, now I gotta wait a year. We shouldn't have done that. We should have just watched the episode or 2,
Next year comes, you're like, fuck yeah, let's watch it all.
Yeah, I'm calling in, bro.
Yeah. That's all I got to say about that.
No matter how you're feeling today, the sun is gonna come out and shine on you. The sun is gonna shine. Come on, guys. The sun is gonna shine. No, the sun is gonna shine on you. No matter how you're feeling. In the bag.
In the bag.